Hello, hello, hey, hello, 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 hey, hello, 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 hey, hello, 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 hey, hello, hello. So, it's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a dope beat. Step two, hello, hi, hey. Let me do it right. Hey, hi, and hello. My name is Jerusalem Truth. I am an artist, business owner, tarot reader, woo lady, and hoodoo baby. And I am loving this energy I am feeling ahead of recording this weekly collective message. Now, before I even get into the chords, okay, I am going to set my timer, as I do, but also speak a little bit about the messages that have been coming up for me that feel particularly relevant and a part of the messages for the collective. And then I'm also going to be shuffling as I talk about it. But one of the themes that's coming up for this week, okay, all right. See, I start talking and Spirit said, actually, hold mine, but we're not taking all of these. Half the deck fell over. So let me talk while I get situated. Basically, now the Five of Swords reversed is the only card that fell out, flipped over. So I will take that one, right? And that kind of fits this theme. This week I'm hearing fighting back the entrapment of our own mind. So one of the things I wanted to say in this little anecdote section was it can be particularly jarring, more than we give ourselves credit for, to resettle or come back to life after a, life-changing event, a jarring event, but also when things have just candidly changed, right? If you saw the last videos, I was not at home, and without telling too much of my people's business, it was a family emergency and a family health emergency that literally for a week was all I cared about. And I had to get back to life. And see, 6 of Cups on the bottom. It was my childhood bestie. Or it involved my childhood best friend. And I came home last Wednesday and it is Tuesday. And I feel like I'm just now getting comfortable with going about, and that's the hesitation, that's the piece. Things are not business as usual yet, realigning with the systems, the habits, the goals, the assignments, assigned / given or otherwise, that we are meant to be partaking right now after things have shifted, right? It has been really hard for me to get back on this camera. It has been really hard for me to want to show up for my business when but my brain and my heart has been there. And yet I know that it is my responsibility. And I'm actually very, very grateful to have the opportunity to be able to do this. And this be something that I'm able to incorporate into my systems, my flow, etc. Right? So that's the first thing that's coming up for the collective. Maybe that's resonant for someone. I'm not really sure, but let's get into it. Actually, pause. If you would like a personal reading with me, I do general life overview readings, love and romance, and career and development readings for 30-minute and 60 minutes, and creative custom tarot spreads for 45 minutes and 90 minutes for my artists, entrepreneurs, and anyone really ready to invest in their creativity. So if you're interested in any of that, that is available down below. Just a little overview of what I'm giving to you, what I'm coming to you with. For my spreads, I do a little triangle, a little diamond in the sky, if you will, with the first row being beginning, middle, end, the second row being the transition from the beginning to the middle to the end, and then the last card kind of at the top of the diamond or the pyramid is sometimes I say flavor, sometimes I say plot line. It depends on what the spread is giving. But without further ado, let's get into this week's collective spread. So like I said, 5 of Swords came out reversed. I actually put that in the middle. And let's flip over the rest of, cute. We have the 5 of Pentacles reversed, the 5 of Swords reversed, and the Page of Pentacles reversed. Yeah, we are actually, what do I want to say? We are recognizing, one, we are further along than we imagined, which does entail more responsibility than the Page of Pentacles, quite frankly, but we also are not in a space where we are struggling or in kind of mental turmoil, having some type of external conflict stopping us from recognizing and realizing this elevation and this evolution that we have been in. I want to flip over. Yeah. Okay. The Chariot and Death as the second row. We actually are realizing let's just flip it all over. Everything's giving, ooh, Eight of Swords as the flavor. Can I get a clarifier, please? Spirit, may I have a clarifier for the Eight of Swords? And I'm going to take one for the Page of Pentacles. Right. So over the Page of Pentacles is the Knight of Cups. Yeah, we're moving along this week. We actually are realizing what we have to offer and understand that it is our duty and our obligation to continue to offer that. And with this Chariot and Death card, it's actually giving that you are moving on from a feeling of not having enough, of being alone, of feeling at the whim of the world around you and at the whims of the things that are going on. And instead, you are honing in on what your vision is, and you are allowing yourself to be clear-eyed and focused. What is it? Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. Actually didn't watch that show. So if you love Friday Night Lights, there's your confirmation. I also got, okay, we got the Eight of Swords upright, clarified by the Three of Wands reverse, and Empress reverse. There is some mental, what do I want to say? Two of Pentacles at the bottom. There is some mental juggling that we're doing as far as how we feel, how capable we feel about creating and drawing new opportunities into our lives. That's what I mean by that kind of stuckness. We are moving beyond the external, right? And we have two fives. We're moving beyond the external kind of changes or pressure that we used to hold on to, and instead we're still moving through this death period, right? Death is not bad, all right? Death is just transformation. Death is just transition. We are transitioning from this external focus with these Five of Pentacles and Five of Swords reversed, the Death card, and then we have the Page of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups. We're still in that transition, but we are excited for it. We know that it's asking a lot of us. The Lover comes before the Chariot, so that's a choice. We've made a decision. We now are facing that decision, and 8 is the Strength card. And so I think it's rather interesting that we have the Eight of Swords upright, clarified by the Three of Wands reverse and the Empress reverse. We are losing, I was going to say losing the forest for the trees. That's kind of what it's giving me. We've gotten so far, and sometimes when you are looking ahead, when you recognize, again, there are things that I have to do that I'm expected to keep showing up for, we can sometimes close our own eyes to it and say, oh, I'm not capable, I'm not ready, I don't know, I'm not ready for this, I'm not ready for this. And that's what this Eight of Swords clarified by the Three of Wands and the Empress reverse is giving me. Ooh, okay. See, I talked her up because look at what's just jumped out. And if it's on the floor, that means it times 4, or, you know, lunar light. Shout out to her. We also got the Three of Swords reversed, and it fell reversed in between my legs. So T, come on, Empress. And the card that I actually flipped over was the Six of Pentacles. Yeah, we are in a space this week of bringing our shadow with us. I always talk about the Strength card and the Lion that's there in its own flower lay as our shadow, our ego, whatever you want to call it. But the parts of ourselves that we don't always give air to, that is what we are dressing up. That's what we're making sexy. That's what we are feeling through. And I think that, as I was just talking about the Strength card as the next step in the major arcana, is what's going to get us out of this Eight of Swords energy. The Three of Wands and the Empress coming out reversed tells me that we are shortening our own vision, right? That this week we may struggle a little bit with fully realizing what it is that we need to do, because sometimes what we need to do is receive, right? We have the Six of Pentacles. Sometimes what we need to do is actually open our hearts and our minds, open our hearts, let them swords fall out of your heart, and allow ourselves to receive the blessings of spirit, of the universe, of Allah, of God, of insert your deity, right? Another example that's coming up. This week, I was somewhere and I called an Uber. I used one card. I was a little short on there. I just put a Hail Mary and I was like, Lord, I just need this Uber home right now. I use another card. It goes through, no questions asked. Cool. Sometimes, you know, the driving apps will do that. And so I was expecting for it to ask me the next day, like, oh, switch cards, what have you, to make sure that it was paid, but it never came. And I said, that's interesting. My gym membership had also been paid, but I was going through my, what are those called? I was going through my transactions and I didn't see it either on this other card. So I'm like, you know, I ain't gonna give horse in the mouth, but all right, Spirit, that got paid for, great. I checked the other account this morning and I almost didn't do it because I was like, ugh, I don't want to see zero or negative, but someone told me to do it. Do you know my tax return had not only hit, but it had hit 2 weeks ago? What are the odds? And so I was able to pay a bill today. I was able to buy myself some headphones because when my headphones are broken, and I was able to grocery shop today on some money I didn't even know I had. You know, so my only job wasn't to figure out how I was supposed to do my job, my task, my thing I had to do in that instance literally was just receive. And I have been looking, searching, hoping, checking when that refund was going to hit. And once I finally forgot about it, that's not only when I received it, but the dividends of it even later. So again, these anecdotes, I'm preaching to me as I'm preaching to you. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that is resonant for you as far as remember, sometimes what we have to do is nothing. Sometimes all we have to do is actually open our hands. Sometimes all we have to do is receive and allow ourselves to be brave enough to sit with the things that scare us about ourselves. And then life, people, opportunities are what come to us and say, hey, I've been looking for someone exactly like you. Ooh, I saw something else this morning that was talking about what it is I will say we, are manifesting is manifesting us back. The job that you are looking for, the kind of job and work environment that you are looking for is looking for you. The kind of creative projects you wish to create and produce and put out into the world are looking for you. Right? Just like they're looking for me. The relationship you desire, the kind of partner you desire, they are manifesting someone like you, just as you are manifesting and working towards being that kind of person as well. Right? So the clarifications that have come out is that we actually are not in our receptive state, and that's the issue. When we are not, I was going to say setting, when our receiving setting is not on, right? We aren't able. Not even aren't able. You know what happens when we don't believe that we can truly receive? That's when we get in this reverse Empress energy. That's when it's constantly, oh my God, where am I going to get it from? Where's it going to come? I don't know. And that's when we get into that 3 of Wands, not seeing the forest for the trees. You aren't able to look forward because you're right here, right now, present in this 8 of Swords energy, thinking that you're stuck, and you're not stuck. You're not stuck, twin. You're not stuck. So with something else that is coming up. Ooh, that wasn't the message that I thought it was going to be, but period. When people show you who you are, when people show you who they are, believe them. And when something happens that we take the word triggers as a net negative when really it's neutral, like it is it's a catalyst for us. When something shows up this week as a catalyst for maybe less than savory feelings, or it's rubbing up against an old wound, this is the week where we are actually called to receive the medicine of that moment, right? We are called to receive that medicine, realize that it's not as heartbreaking or devastating as we once believed it to be, and that we actually can present that to these darker parts of ourselves, the dark wolf within us, whatever you want to call it. And that's how we are able to come to terms with all the different multitudes of ourselves, right? So I'm actually going to pull 3 cards with the modern tarot deck because this message feels, Neo tarot deck. I'm using the modern witch deck, the Neo tarot deck. I'm just gonna, okay. I wish I could say this only happens when I'm recording, but I do my own readings and the cards be chatting. So let's see what fell out. The Hanged One or Hanged Woman came out upright. So I'll take this. This feels like the first card. So I'm gonna let that be first. May I get 3 cards, Spirit? Well, 2 more cards, Spirit. About the story of this week. What is the collective meant to call in and step into? What if my newest like personal spreads I do in the morning, I pull 3 cards. One is the magic for the day. One is the mojo for the day. And no, magic, message, and mojo. That's what it is. All right, Spirit. Actually, thank you for helping me remember that. I'm going to put this hanged woman back in the card and ask, all right, Spirit, what is the message for this week for the collective? May I get a card to represent the magic of the week for the collective, and may I get a card to represent our personal mojo for this week? You want me to shuffle 2 more times? Beautiful. Period. And we got the 5 of Swords reversed again. I love that for us. And the 3 of Cups was reversed on the bottom, and I was coming like this to show you. 5 of Wands reversed. A lot of reversals in the 5 energy, but I like that. It's less tense, less, again, external. We're really just dealing with our own, the little voices in our heads, and how those rub up against what the world is actually trying to show us and mirror back to us. But again, I say, oh, you can't make this up. So the 3 of Cups and the 3 of Wands were reversed, and I went to turn the cards up and they both fell out upright. So what are the odds that in the other card, in the other deck, we get the 3 of Wands upright, which we got reversed in the first deck. And the 3 of Cups didn't jump out the first time, but that feels relevant with this 5 of Swords reversed energy. That's our mojo, but we'll get to that in a second. And the message for this week, the Hanged I want y'all to know the card was flipped over when I pulled it. So I was right. You got to trust. Spirit said, no, you was right. This is the first card. The message for the week, we're going to come back to that with the Neo Tarot book. But the message for the week is to pause and give yourself space to breathe and take in and absorb and integrate the new lessons and messages and orientation that we feel, while the magic for the week, Knight of Cups reversed. That's interesting because we got the Knight of Cups. While the magic for the week is, we're going to get a clarifier. Let me just get one. I'm not even going to shuffle. We got the 10 of Cups as our clarifier as the magic for the week. Yeah, so the Hanged one as the message with the Knight of Cups reversed and the 10 of Cups as our magic is saying that this week we are actually called as a bird. Oh, that was so beautiful. I'll take that as confirmation. This week we are being called to pause, not to be inactive or to stop our motion or what have you, but rather to allow ourselves to sit in and integrate the lessons and the messages and again the orientation and alignment that we now are on. And as far as the magic of the week, the magic is realizing that we actually don't have to go it alone. So we got the Knight of Cups clarifying the Page of Pentacles with the Modern Witch Tarot, which again lets me know that by the end of this week we actually are in a more not just receptive, but we're able to bring those emotions, that creativity, the things that want to come to surface, we're able to bring that forth to others honestly and openly. And that connection is everything this week. That is the magic that we are being asked to indulge in. Again, going back to that 6 of Pentacles and strength earlier, we are being called to receive. We're being called to receive. You ain't gotta do too much. Sometimes all you gotta do is nothing. All right. Sometimes all you got to do is continue doing what you're doing and not thinking, is this going to work? Do I have to tweak this? Do I have to breathe? Actually, let's do that. All right. I want you to kick off my slippers. Feet on the ground. I like to put my hands on my knees. Shaking ass on my thigh shit. But okay. We are going to put our feet on the ground. Our hands on our knees or just at a rested position by our waist, whatever feels comfortable. Maybe you in a chair with some arms. And I want us to breathe in deeply through our nose for 5 seconds. One more. Oh, I didn't say this part. Breathe in for 5, hold for 3, out for 8. Cool? Cool. But you already knew that. You were picking up one. All right, let's do this last one together. All right, I hope that was as refreshing as it was for you as that was for me. But let's close out this reading with what is our mojo for the week. Our mojo for the week is, again, sometimes you gotta take your dog out of that fight. If you've ever heard the phrase or the colloquialism, I ain't got no dog in that fight, right? It's something that doesn't have anything to do with you. That's what this Five of Swords reversed is giving. And from the idea of you actually got to take your dog out of that fight. Sometimes you have to course correct mentally in order to be fully present with the people that you are around now, this Three of Cups energy, and where you are going, right? I think that these falling out together are super complementary with this Five of Swords energy, and that you are removing your energy, you're recalling your power, your attention, your time, your effort from where it has been previously to the people, places, and things that need your love and attention and your emotion and feelings now, and the you that you are becoming, the you that is on the path forward that needs your full attention and presence as well. So last but certainly not least, it feels so good to be back with all my cards. We have the Golden Mantras deck by Destiny Taylor, one of my favorites. And we're going to ask Spirit for an affirmation for the collective. All right, Spirit, what affirmation would you like me to deliver to the collective for this weekly collective reading? All I need flows to me with ease. See, what did I say? Let's get it. All that I need flows to me with ease. All that you need flows to you with ease. How do you receive that? How does that sit in your body? How does your ear hear it? How does your spirit receive that message? If there's some hesitation, that's okay. Do what you gotta do, get it out. But really acknowledge and allow yourself to question why you even question that everything you need flows to you, or that it can't, or that it has to be in some. This week, when you are finding yourself at a crossroads, when you are finding yourself in need, right? Rather than striving or trying to fix and, oh my gosh, how am I gonna engineer? When things start to feel a little tense, how do you take a moment? And sometimes it can be just as quick as closing your eyes, letting all your breath out. But how do you take a moment and bump up or rub up against the hesitation that you are always provided for, that you always receive what you need? And how can you ask Spirit to show you that all that you need flows to you with ease? Actively be in conversation with Spirit this week so that you can start to feel that and own that. And so you don't have to split yourself mentally, physically, or otherwise into saying, I have to be here, I have to be here, I have to be here, or else it won't get done. It needs to be done. All that I need flows to me with ease. So thank you so much for watching. I will be back tomorrow, which is Wednesday, for the monthly collective energy read for May. And I have some other videos that I'm finally rocking and rolling and editing, child. So you'll have a lot of fun treats to check out. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you in advance for any readings that you would like to do with me. Again, we have the general life forecast or life overview reading for 30 or 60 minutes, the love and romance, as well as career development, also for 30 or 60 minutes, and then custom creativity readings from our artists, entrepreneurs, or anyone just ready to invest in their own creativity. So thank you so much for watching. How many times can I say so? And I'm not gonna edit it out either. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video tomorrow. Bye.